So hey folks, welcome back to the Wanneroo channel. I hope everybody's doing good out there. I know a lot of people have been sick. I've been sick with the whole Omicron thing, and so my voice might not be perfect for this, but I've been gradually improving and all that. So hopefully within a week I'll sound kind of more normal again. But anyways, today we're going to take a look at some Rhodesian FAL magazines that I've been acquiring over the past year, kind of working towards my own project with an FAL. And so when these came up, I went ahead and grabbed them because, and they're still available out there, but probably at some point you're going to see supplies of them dry up again. And my understanding is that this will pretty much be the last of it. Essentially, all the remaining Zimbabwe Rhodesian FAL stuff about 2 or 3 years ago got sent to a couple of South African arms dealers and big gun shops and stuff. And then subsequently, because there's a bigger market over here in the United States, a lot of these magazines and different parts and stuff, they've come into the country because they can get more for them here. So, you know, probably at some point a lot of this stuff is just going to dry up like all surplus does. And so you pretty much have to grab it when it's out there. You know, for certainly there is different surplus and things that you know, come out there on the market, and maybe it hangs around for a while, depending on you know, how much of it there is. But you know, this stuff will probably start to get more difficult to find as time goes on, and it kind of already has. So the thing with this that I want to go through on this video is I'm going to be cleaning and restoring these magazines to some extent. And what I want before I go into the second part of the video is I want a bit of audience feedback on this in terms of what to do. There are other surplus magazines right now that I'll probably do some videos on that I need to clean up. And like for instance, I've got a bunch of G3 magazines and some Galil magazines, and I'm going to be showing how I clean up the magazines and all that and make them serviceable. But the issue that we kind of have here compared to those is obviously we have the patina, I guess we could call it, of these magazines that are all kind of very unique in their own way. And so the issue that kind of comes into play with this compared to those is, you know, how do you tackle this? Obviously, this is a thing where we want to get these back functional, working, and ensure that they work and everything. But the problem is that you want to, you know, at least the way I see it, I want to maintain the patina, and I don't really want to destroy that yet. I want to clean up all the grime. But then how far do I go in terms of actually restoring them? For instance, I have some matched paint that someone made up, some paint kits for some Rhodesian. They basically did a color match on some of this stuff. And you know, some of these, the paint is kind of a bit lacking. It's faded with time, and you know, there's not a whole lot of it left on there. So I could go the route of adding paint. So this is a thing where, for the audience, I mean, I'm interested in kind of hearing feedback on how to go. Just clean them up and hope for the best with them, or add paint to them, or you know, basically how to kind of go about this whole thing. And also too, there's an issue where I want to be able to preserve them somewhat as well, for decades to come. So I guess what we'll do here is let's actually look at each one of these individually to see what we have. And some of these, the followers also kind of look, you know, some of them are really grimy in there, the followers and the springs. But this one here, you know, not a whole lot of paint left on it. It looks like a lot of it has just kind of rubbed off over time, so there's still a little bit of original paint there, but not a huge amount. This one here, decent amount of paint. It looks like someone scratched their name into it. And can't really, it says B red, I don't know. Yeah, I can't really tell what that name is. And then it looks like there's some sort of number somebody scratched into it, 376. So don't know what that would signify. Here's the other side of it here. So still kind of plenty of original paint on this. So not too bad of a magazine. Looks like the spring looks kind of grody though. So that'll definitely need to be cleaned. And then the blue paint, my understanding is, and I could be completely wrong, but the blue paint was used to make the green paint. So in other words, what they did was, apparently this blue paint, they had, obviously in the 1970s in Rhodesia with all the sanctions and stuff, apparently they had a pretty difficult time getting hold of a lot of stuff. But one of the things the Army had was tons of this sky blue paint, apparently. And so they slapped it on everything that needed a coat of paint. And to basically make the baby poop green, they mixed the blue with the yellow, and that's how you got your green. So that's the story I've heard. If someone's heard differently, interested to hear. Now this one here, we have some more ground in kind of rust and dirt on this side, and probably that rust there. That's going to be a tricky thing, because to kind of get at that rust, how do you do it without destroying the paint? That's going to be the hard part there. So figuring out how to approach that, or do we just scrub the surface rust off best we can and some of the paint's going to come with it? Totally kind of really blast it and get in there? I don't know. See, so that's kind of a tricky one in terms of tackling that. So we'll have to see how we go about that one. This one doesn't look in too bad a condition. Let me see how it looks down in here. I think pretty much all of these springs and followers, they're going to need a clean, but plenty of kind of original paint on this one. And there's a code on this one, ST. I think that's South Africa. I can't remember. Someone was talking online recently about the codes on the magazines, and I think ST came out of South Africa, but not sure. But again, that's kind of the point of this video. If there's people that know stuff that I don't, I'm always interested in hearing back. Let's see if this one has a code on it. Oh, we have ST, and there's actually a number 097702 that's stamped in it as well. And let's see, do we have a code on this one? Let's see here. I don't see a code stamped in this one. Let's see, do we have a code stamped on this one here? Nope, I don't see anything stamped on this one at all. So, all right, let's take a look at this one here. So we got some original paint on it. The magazine actually doesn't look in too bad of a shape. The follower and the spring seem pretty good. I don't see any sort of code stamped on it. Now the other thing too is some of these, they might be converted inch magazines. So this one here, I think this one might be a converted inch magazine. So if you know this sort of stuff, let me know. But that might be a converted inch magazine there. But yeah, this one here, not too bad. It's kind of faded a little bit there, but a lot of the paint, and you can kind of see just how grimy and dirty these magazines are. That's why I'm wearing nitrile gloves. So, you know, even with just a basic clean on these, I think it'll actually help a bit. I don't see any date code on this one, but again, kind of a nice fade to it. You know, bit of patina. A lot of the original paint is worn off, but there's still some remaining. So that's the thing you could make a case for with some of these. Some of these you could go ahead and you could maybe repaint them and add some new paint. Keep some of the original paint, or just straight up leave them alone. This one here, plenty of original paint on this. And I don't see any sort of date code or stamping on the magazine at all. But yep, heaps of original paint there. Now the other thing with some of these magazines is they obviously passed into Zimbabwean hands, and I think they eventually kind of moved to AKs, and a lot of their FAL stuff just kind of sat for a long time. Let's see, this one has a name or something scratched into it. VAMA, V-A-M-A. So VAMA, if you're looking for your magazine, I got it. This, I think, might be another converted inch magazine. And looks like we got some writing on it. Whatever that signifies. It looks like a M or a NT 91920. So somebody must have wrote their, you know, whatever their number is or whatever on here. Doesn't look in too bad a shape. Plenty of original paint on it, so looks pretty good. And then this one here. Now the other thing some folks have said too is that if you see like a lot of brown paint, so I guess the Zimbabwean troops in the 80s and stuff, I guess they used some different paints and stuff they slapped on theirs. But they say if you see more of a brown paint, that was probably done by the troops in the 80s and beyond, and not the original Rhodesian. Let's see, this one here, the follower, looks a bit rusty, so the follower is going to need to get cleaned up. I'm expecting these springs are probably going to be the springs, you know, usually. And the other thing too, this one's real gritty going down in there. So probably the internals on this are going to need a good clean and a good scrub. So one of the things that I use to clean the inside is that whenever I take the floor plate off, is I use a square brush with like some M Pro 7, and that does a good job of, like, with those 90-degree angles on the brush, getting a lot of that grit out. So we'll see if it's just grime, or if there's like I don't know. It looks like a lot of grime and dirt and crap built up in there. A little bit of rust right here. So again, kind of the hard part is getting the rust off without damaging the patina of the paint. So that's gonna have to be, you know, something I'm gonna have to watch for. But I don't see any sort of date code on this one. So, and then our last magazine that we have. And I think I'm going to try to acquire more of these too, and try to get up to at least 20 of these. So that's kind of my end goal. This one, I don't see any sort of date codes or country codes or any stampings on it. Just plain Jane. There looks like plenty of original paint on it. So that's good. So getting this floor plate off, this might be interesting. So this looks like this floor plate probably hasn't come off in the past 50 years. So probably going to have to get some oil or something in there, because that looks pretty well stuck on there. So whether it's just a lot of paint or whatever, but that looks like it's on there pretty good. So that might be difficult to get off. Let's see. Spring doesn't feel too bad on it. And let's see, no date code, country code, or anything like that. But yeah, plenty of original paint on this one. So I think one thing is for sure is to get some basic cleaning done on these. For the first thing is just a good scrub on them and see if we can get a lot of the grime and dirt. They've been sitting around for a long time probably, and they were heavily used to begin with, and then, you know, thrown in whatever storage facility or however it was. So definitely a good clean to start with, and then it's kind of trying to figure out, you know, how far do we go in terms of adding new paint or not adding any at all, or, you know, whatever we decide to do in the end. But so I'm interested to hear any feedback. So it's a thing of where if you guys have more knowledge about these than I do, then I'm interested in hearing from you. Probably with the way things are right now, I probably won't really get into doing anything with these for another 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks or so. So in that time, once I post the video, if there's more knowledge and information that you guys have about these magazines, I am familiar with the Rhodesian conflict. I've done plenty of research on it over the years, so I'm pretty familiar with that. But a lot of the intricate details in terms of the FAL stuff, in terms of what's what, if there's more knowledge that you have about these, or also too, what your opinion is on cleaning these up and what you would do and your approach to it, I'm interested in hearing from y'all. So definitely feel free to post feedback on this and let me know what your thoughts are and what you might know. And any other fun stuff you want to add, I'm definitely interested in hearing about it. And then at some point we'll get started, and we'll you know, start getting them cleaned, and then see if we're going to do any sort of restorative painting on them, or what our approach will be with that. So, anyways, folks, stay tuned. Right now, I would say that things in my life, they're not great right now, and just a lot of different things going on. I had a friend pass away the other day, for instance, and other things that are happening. So I'm going to do my best to get the content out there. But if there are delays at times, you know, just be aware that, you know, like I said, things are not great right now. So, you know, I'm going to do the best I can with getting the content out. And there's a lot of different projects that I need to get done and I'm trying to work on. So, you know, I'll get those videos out, you know, when I can. But yeah, interested in hearing y'all's feedback on this with these particular magazines. And then we're going to do something with it and get into it and get them cleaned up, at least at a minimum. So anyways, thanks for watching, y'all. Stay tuned, and look forward to hearing from y'all.